Hello, model railroad fans. Welcome to Vintage Road and Rail. As many of you who watch my content know, that my basement has been having water issues for the past 2 months. We discovered it November 3rd, something like that. And today's date is January 6th, it's 2023. So it's been just over 2 months. Thankfully, the actual source of the water leak has been fixed, but there's still a lot of work to do, and I have had to completely clear that room out, dismantle my train table, computers, collectibles, everything is out of there because they've got to fix the wall, rip up the carpet, replace it, all that good stuff, replace baseboards, damaged drywall, all that's got to be done. So what do you do when you can no longer run trains on your layout at home? Well, you can come up here to the train club and run them here, or what you can do is buy a layout. And that's exactly what I did. You saw this in my review of the HO scale Bachmann train set. I can't remember the name of that train set. I don't think it's a thoroughbred, but it's the HO version, and it came with a Norfolk Southern F7, 2 cars, and a caboose. And you saw me run that on this layout here. Well, like I said, I'd known this was going to be up for auction for a long time, so I really kind of wanted it, but so I started saving up for it, but then I kind of changed my mind. But then once I had to completely clear out that basement, I'm like, yep, okay. And this is a really nice layout. Now, I won the auction for $300, but because I'm a club member and also a board member of the club, they're letting me just pay it monthly. So for 10 months, 30 bucks a month, it's mine. And for right now, they are letting me keep it up here at the club so that I can run trains, since I can't run anything at home. And this is exclusively mine. I don't mind if anybody uses it, but they do have to ask. So let's take a look at it, shall we? Now, in addition to this layout, let's look at one more thing before we get to it. It didn't come with just the layout, but it also come with this. Some stuff to run it on, to run on the layout. Because for all they knew, the person winning this wouldn't have had anything to run. So I have got 2 Bachmann locomotives that are DCC. And what are these? I think these are GP7s or 9s. Yeah, GP7s. But these are actually DCC, but they run great on this DC layout. And then we got a caboose, a little hopper, and some box cars, another hopper, and an old Tyco caboose. So we're going to test those out here in just a few moments. And also, before I get too far into this, I apologize if the camera is all over the place, because I'm freehanding this because my gimbal got packed away, and I haven't really learned how to use that yet anyway. All right, so anyway, my understanding about this layout is it's about as old as me. I was born in 74, and this was built around about the mid-70s. And it's based off of an old school Atlas track plan. I have looked, and I have not been able to find that track plan, but I have found some that are very similar. In fact, the only difference between the ones I found and this one are, this one has a roundhouse, or turntable, I'm sorry, turntable. And there's an extra line on the outside over here that I'm not seeing. Now, it may be that it was in some old model railroader magazine or something like that, or something you could have got at a dealer that Atlas provided. Who knows? I mean, that was almost, probably 50 years ago. But you can see it's got brass track. So I thought that was rather interesting. So let's kind of take a look and see what we've got. So let's first look at what we got to control it. This lifts up, and so you can store, there's all your wiring, and you can store a couple of things in there. We've got a railer there. And this can run 2 trains simultaneously, but you've got to be on your game because everything is controlled with blocks, and there's really only one line, so you're going to have to stop, let somebody pass, things like that. So we have like a diagram here, and the red, excuse me, is your power blocks, and the black is for your switches. This button does nothing, but I'll show you what this one does. I'm sure it did something at one point, but it don't do anything now. I'll show you a little later what this one does. And this, I'll show you what those do as well. But then here is where we do our switching. So you want to throw a switch, you just flip it and then push it, and it'll throw the switch. You want to put it back, you flip it and you push it, and it'll put it back. And then here are our power blocks. And each of these are numbered with this. And this controls our turntable. Now, the interesting thing, if you want to turn off one of these, you put it in the center, like this one. If you push it up, like this one is, it's for this power pack, cab A. Excuse me. If you go down, it'll be cab B. All right, so let's take a look at some of what we have on here. Now, this is in really good shape. A lot of old school buildings, and I really like the layout, but it does need some work, and we'll touch on that in just a little bit. So we have like a little town square here. So this looks like a freight house of some sort. Yes, indeed. And then we got some apartment buildings, a gas station, and that could be some sort of a government building, maybe a post office or a school. We got a little grocery store. We got a church, a cottage, and a little house. And then we got a couple more houses here. And then this looks like to be some sort of a restaurant, like a bistro or something. And then we got a switch tower. And I'm not real sure what that is. I can't quite read it. Let me zoom in. At least you'll be able to see what it is. Looks almost like some kind of a shop or something. And then we got a passenger station. And we've got a restaurant, the Whistle Stop. So over here, we got a engine house. And we've got whatever this was, but it's broken. I almost think it might have been some kind of a water tower. That's what the bottom of it looks like. And then we got one of these Bachmann tanker, oil silos. And over here, again, I apologize for the camera. I'm freehanding this, trying to keep it steady. We've got a fueling station. And then we've got our turntable here. And there was a little building there. Looks like it has come up missing. And then we've got a handcart shed over there. So we can put like a little Gandy dancer on there if you wanted. It's not going to connect to the layout, but you can put it there just for display. So everything looks pretty good, but you'll notice there's something missing here. There used to be a little building there. And you can see this building is missing. And obviously this is broken. And I guess someone bumped this because the handrails are laying off to the side. But then you can see here on the edge, this has been damaged. So I'll probably want to scrape that off and redo that. But really, to be honest with you, I'm not going to do a whole lot with it. I'm just going to kind of leave it as it is. I might replace a few buildings. Certainly anything that's missing. Like whatever was there, I want to put something in that place. And I might get the notion to swap one of these out. So we'll see. But anyway, so you notice we got these lights all over the place. So we're going to come down here and we're going to turn the power on to cab B. And we're lit. A few of them need some repairs. Like these here aren't working. But you see, this controls your lights. So you can turn off the street, which does nothing. I can't, but you'll see what it does here in a second. But if you want to turn off the left side, you pull that down. And if you want to turn off the right side, oh, I see what these two are tied in together. So that turns off. But it'll be independent. And you weren't even seeing these at all. I was just showing you the lights. So it's kind of hard to show them both at the same time. So I'm going to flip this one and show you what it does. These lights came on. Now I'm going to flip this one and those lights come on. This one, I'm not 100% sure what its purpose is, because it seems to only control lights when that one's off. So, next thing let's run a train, shall we? I'm going to just unbox one of these and put it on here, and we'll get some footage of this sucker running. So give me just a couple moments and I'll be right back. So I've got one of the locomotives and all the cars and the better of the two cabooses on here. The other one's your old school Tyco. It's a great caboose, I love it, but it really just doesn't compare to this Atlas. No way. So that's the train we've got. But before we start running it and just let it, make a circuit or two around the layout, I just wanted to show you a couple of things that I forgot to mention. I forgot about this button here, but if you push and hold it, sounds like the noise is coming from here, from this passenger station. The other thing is, I don't know if you noticed when I was walking around earlier, some of these curves are precariously close to the edge. Right here, I mean, just look at that. And over here. And then when you come on this side, this curve's not quite as bad, but it's still close. But look at that line right here. I mean, that is hanging right on the edge, man. That's one bump away from anything sitting right there being on the floor and broken, especially on this concrete floor. But even on a carpeted floor, it won't have much of a chance. So one of the things I want to do is get like maybe a 1x6, or even ½ inch. It doesn't have to be thick, just to where it sticks up, just about maybe an inch above, just so that if it derails, it's going to bump that wood. So, and the other thing, well, we'll go over that this next part, then we'll go over that as it's going around. And the other thing is, I'm going to wire in DCC, put another little base right here so it can sit, and put a little throw switch there so I can switch between the two. I mean, it's brass track. It still sends electrical current. It may not be the most ideal thing, but it'll work, So, all right. So let's get this rascal going. I'm not going to really show much of the switching and stuff today. I just really kind of was anxious to get out here and really take it for a spin. All right. All I can say is I'm going to have fun with this layout. This is really nice. Yeah, I apologize. I'm just freehanding this, so I'm sure when you're watching this, it'll be going, ooh, so I apologize. Right, we're going around the town here. And here in just a moment, we're going to stop it, and I'll point something out. Actually, let's let it make a full, complete circuit, because basically this goes twice around. We've already went completely around and did a figure 8. Now we're going to slowly come around. Let's pick up a little speed here. And this is going to bring us back around where we started. Alright, so we're going to do another lap. And this time I'm going to stop it in a particular place and show you something. I was surprised to find these are actually DCC locomotives. Okay, let's slow it down. Stop right there. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars on here. I believe most of those are 40 footers. I'm not sure what the length is of that chassis, but it's definitely smaller. So you see this outer loop here, and what I mean, well, I guess the middle loop is what I should say. This one right here, this is the one we're on. So it crosses over itself because this is a figure 8 right here in the middle. So this middle loop is the maximum length that a train can be on this layout. Right here. If it's any longer than that, you're going to run into your tail and you're going to wreck your train and kill your engineer and your conductor. Now, the other thing though is if you throw this switch, which this is switch 1, so we're going to switch it and you go on that line, put it back. Well, then you're going to be even shorter because that is less distance, and I imagine it's probably a tighter radius too. So that's something I have to keep in mind, because anywhere else, like when I go through here and straight across, it goes around and in, so I can be as long as I want off this direction, you know. And the same thing once I come out onto this line, it's not going to double back over itself. So either these directions I would be fine, but right there, that's my limiter. Okay, well, let's let this make a couple of laps. I'm going to stand back and just let you take it in a little bit. I'm going to keep it nice and slow because if I derail, I don't want it to fly off. Let's do a little better than that. There we go. I think that's a nice little speed. Alright, I wanted to let it get at least one complete circuit without me yapping and just destroying the ambiance there. So anyway, I think let's go ahead and wrap this video up. It's probably gone a good 17 minutes or so. So yeah, so let me know down in the comments, what do you think about this this layout? Is this the type of layout you wouldn't mind having in your, you know, basement or spare room, you know, with the old school design and switches and blocks and everything? Or are you like, screw that, give me DCC and simple wiring and all that good stuff? So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think of it. I'd, you know, like to read them. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do my channel a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted as to when more content comes up. And as I get my basement issues straightened out, I'll get a little bit more on schedule. So, all right. Well, I'm going to let you watch this just a little bit longer. And until next time, happy model railroading, guys. Take care.